Had 31 assists tonight on 41 baskets. Just what did you make, I guess, of the way that the team played cohesively over the course of the full game?
Yeah, it was great. Obviously, it was nice knocking down some shots, But as I said, from even our last game, I thought we had great ball movement, great body movement. I thought for the majority of the game it was really good. I think we had a little lull there in that fourth quarter when they were making a run. We just got a little lax with our movement. But multiple guys, if you look at the box score, I think everyone that had assist -1 was like 2+ assists. So that's really impressive. I thought our movement patterns were great. Our pace still wasn't where it needed to be. I thought Denver obviously played really fast and knew that was going to be a big factor coming in the game. But overall, great ball movement, built the lead in that third quarter, and a lot of that was just getting stops and just playing collective basketball. So very impressive, and we're going to have a challenge again. Not sure, if Jokic will be back or not, but obviously Strother hurt us, and we know what Murray's fully capable of. I thought we did a good job on Porter tonight, which was big. So we just got to be ready for whatever the challenge is on Tuesday.
Taylor, we've talked about the options that you have in the starting lineup and the rotation from that end, but how much of a luxury is it to have finishers the way you do with particular Dez and Jaren? You could just pretty much pick your poison with those two guys down the stretch.
Yeah, it's great to have. Just we want to play collective as much as possible, but then I just kind of felt that we just needed to slow the game down. I think the last, maybe 2 minutes, Jaren had a couple great looks right there in the paint. We could have still done a better job moving in those situations, missed a couple bunnies, and then, Dez with some just very big-time poised plays, playmaking, obviously his layup finish, but then just settling the team down, getting to the space, and we know what the coverages were. I thought he did a great job. Obviously found BC, on another one for a big-time bucket. So it's great. We want to play fast. We want to play collective as much as possible, and we still, when we want to slow it down, still have that same mentality, and especially late in the game to have guys that you can play through. We're learning. Our finishing lineups throughout the season have been very different, game to game. So proud of the guys that finished tonight, when they were trying to make their run.
Taylor, just going off of that, in pregame you talk about the tough decisions you and the coaching staff are having to make with the rotations as guys are coming back into the lineup and such. But does this depth, you kind of see it almost like increase the margin of error for victory? You have 6 guys with at least a block or a steal. You had all those assists, the balance scoring. Do you see that as a way that no matter who's in or out of the lineup, that depth is kind of a strength for y'all?
We're trying to find our competitive advantages everywhere possible with our style of play offensively and defensively, and we knew that was a big focal point tonight with, the depth that they have, obviously with a number of important guys out. So we wanted to make sure we had the pace we needed, the movement, and then I thought our on-ball activity, that was a big focus tonight, was really, really good for us. Obviously, a couple guys had some, good scoring nights, as a, benefit to our game plan. We'll go back, watch the film, see what we need to correct, for Tuesday's game. But overall, the more that we can, I think at one point I subbed 5 guys in just because the clock kept ticking, and I wanted to make sure I got some fresh guys out there. I was just reading, some of the body language, and just being able to have a lot of different guys to step in the floor, play that relentless style of basketball, that's what we're pressing upon. So if we can find that as a competitive edge, we're going to try to lean into it as much as we can.
I saw before the game you said something, you talked about using depth to maintain intensity.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing, say, quicker substitutions to try to utilize your depth, do you see any tension there between the way that helps you maintain freshness versus maintain or lose chemistry in lineups? And if so, is that something that you think you can improve over the course of the season?
I think it's something hopefully we can improve. It's definitely new. We were trying to do this early in the season, then we kind of had a rash of injury bell, and then we didn't have the number of available bodies and guys that we have confidence in. So it's definitely something we're very mindful of. We're trying to figure out our chemistry as guys are coming back into the rotations, and again, does our starting lineup change at some point? I just changed it tonight, bringing Dez back, so that always factors into the chemistry equation. So we definitely want to know, as I always say, our standard is it doesn't matter who's on the floor. We know what we're capable of. If it's our freshness, that's going to be the most important thing, and hopefully we can inherently build in chemistry if we can game to game have those kind of sub patterns built in, but we haven't really had that luxury yet. So it's definitely in conversation. We don't want to sacrifice one for the other. Can we get the best of both worlds?
Yeah, Coach, first half I think it was 22 made field goals, 19, 18 something were assisted, something like that. Your highest score had 8 points. I've never really seen a more balanced scoring box score there. Can you just talk about what you did to adjust, because early they were trapping, getting the ball out of hands, a lot of turnovers, and it looked like you really fixed it, going there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a product of our guys just kind of reading the game, getting a better feel for it. I looked at, halftime, they had like 19 fast break points. We definitely had, too many turnovers. We were trying to probably get some high-risk plays with, some of our movement and cutting. And then I felt in the third quarter we just cleaned that up, big time. But luckily, even before halftime, we still had, as you said, 18-ish assists. And I pressed upon them. That's how we got to play. Got to come out with a, same edge mentality, just even clean it up more, take care of the ball, be smart with our transition defense. I thought we did a better job of that. Obviously, Westbrook had his moments in the second half that hurt us. So overall, our guys are just kind of, feeling it out as the game goes on. We want to play fast. We want to play collective. And we know it's been a season-long thing already that turnovers are a factor, and we just got to learn as we get going, and luckily they got better.
Hey, Coach, two-part question. Any early updates on Zack's injury, and also what you think of his impact early on that first quarter? Got to a slow start, but when he came into the game, he had an immediate impact. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, rolled the ankle, I think in the first half, got evaluated, got cleared, was good to go, and then, unfortunately, I think it was a similar situation just right in front of our bench, and just got his foot cut up. We'll get more of an evaluation tomorrow and see how he bounces back. And I thought his impact was great. Rebounding, him running the floor, and moving the ball. I love the shots that he took when he was open, but he was playing collective. And then, he's a big target. I thought he was moving well without the ball. And then when a guy got in a jam, they were able to find him. But the rebounding was the thing that stood out to me. And just his presence in the paint, blocking shots. He had that one on Murray, just pick and roll defense with Murray that's really dynamic and hard to guard. I thought he did a heck of a job on that end too.
Coach, whenever it comes to preparing for a team that you have to play back-to-back in a situation like this, are there any challenges when it comes to preparation?
No, I mean, both teams are going to watch the film, and obviously, we'll figure out, what our roster looks like if guys are coming back. Zack's situation, Marcus as well, and when you got Jokic Lumen as well. If he's coming back Tuesday in the Cup game, that'll factor in for sure. But we got to go off of the tape from tonight. Press upon that. I don't think our game plan will change too much from an offensive standpoint. Defensively, that could definitely change. With Jokic back in, but as I said, being locked in on Murray and Porter, we have some takeaways from that game. So take as much info as you can from even this game and get prepared. And these are always unique situations playing the same team in the season. And, this is even more unique having the Cup game be the second one of it. So really excited for that opportunity and what learning we can take from this game.
Yeah, Coach, to follow up on those two, you said high-risk plays, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They had fewer turnovers or you got more, but they actually converted it to more points. It's easy to teach on that, after a win, but, how are you going to help maybe clean that up? What's going to be the message going into this segment?
Yeah, I mean, it's watching film, and then when we do our walkthroughs, just, showing the movement patterns where, you're trying to make that play, which we've been drilling, but you maybe missed the other opportunity, or maybe there was something even earlier in the possession. We didn't have to rely on that high-risk play later in the possession. So we'll go back. That's what we're doing, educating our guys. It's still a work in progress. I love that the intent is there. Sometimes the decision can be something a little bit more beneficial than the one that resulted in a turnover. So last thing, Hustle got the first win tonight. Super fired up for them, and my guy TC started as my head video coordinator. It's been awesome to see his journey. Shout out to TC Swirsky and the staff, but for TC, his first official career head coaching victory is really special. So shout out to you, TC. Love you, man. Thanks, everyone.